Hello and welcome. Joined by my friend Saurabh Jha, who's the director and the founder of the Delhi Defense Review. Saurabh, welcome.
Pleased to be here, Sandeep.
We're going to be talking about President Putin's upcoming visit to India. You know, I've heard that he's bringing out a whole lot of defense offers to India, specifically the Caliber missiles, long-range cruise missiles, 1,500-kilometer caliber cruise missiles, a second Chakra, Akula class nuclear powered attack submarine, something like 6 kilo class submarines, some of which will be refurbished in a Russian yard and given to us. A whole lot of defense equipment, and of course, there's talk of the S-500 and the Su-57 stealth jets, the fifth generation fighter jets. What do you make of these offers?
See, obviously the Russians have to now offer their best kit to us, right? Given the way their military-industrial complex is poised.
Right.
And they have, to be fair to them, they've traditionally done that.
Right.
So they are, and obviously they would want some of these to be off-the-shelf buys, and maybe they'll then propose some kind of further co-development and co-production to go along with it, which is of course part of the IGTMC, the Military Technical Cooperation Agreement and Council. So, so the thing is that I see them being in a situation where they now cannot afford to hold back in any way, as far as military technology is concerned, with respect to the offers they make to India. Right. I mean, they may probably being left unsaid is even higher end, even more exotic systems may be on offer at the moment to India.
Is it because they want to retain their share of the Indian defense market? That's one.
That is certainly one thing. They also need the plow back into their own military industrial complex, and now they need our human resources and our supply chain as well. Because that is hugely stretched. And they need an alternative to, just importing Chinese components or components rerouted through various rat lines here and there, etc. Right. So they are now much more serious about that co-production, co-development part than they have ever been.
Right. So you have two big projects. You have the BrahMos cruise missile that we use with such devastating effect in Sindoor, and you have the AK-203, which is, small arms, lower tech. But there's no other big program for joint ventures, no co-development, nothing.
Yeah, there were a whole bunch of sort of joint R&D programs that were running. That were running on the R&D side between DRDO and equivalent entities in Russia, within Russia. But yes, things sort of went into a bit of a low ebb as India looked to diversify, multi-align and so on and so forth. But the point is that traditionally India has used the experience with Russian equipment has been bittersweet. Right. So India has used them very effectively. Even when it has faced an enemy which has used primarily American equipment or Western equipment. But at the same time, there have been these continuous issues with maintenance, operations and maintenance, essentially supply of spares, supply of parts and components. And the issue, and despite the close relationship, technology transfer has not always happened in the way that we've sort of wanted. So that has been an issue as well. And whether it be the Russians or anyone else, there is always a tendency to offer things when something equivalent to that has already reached a certain degree of maturity.
I was going to ask you about that. The Caliber is, they never offered the 1,500-kilometer version. But now when we are close to developing our own, the long-range cruise missile, comes the offer of the Caliber. So is it meant to kind of...
It could well be, because one thing is that the submarine launch cruise missile, which is another project, which is a 600-kilometer range system, that has been tested already, and it is also progressing towards maturity. Apart from the long-range land attack cruise missile project and all, but these are all related projects, obviously. So it's not surprising that the Russians are now offering a 1,500-kilometer range Caliber to us. Right. So of course, all offers will be examined on their merits.
Right.
And one should be very clear, whether it be Russia or America,
Yeah.
It should not be the case that the capital budget ends up getting eaten up by these imports, leaving very little
Right.
to progress indigenous projects
Right.
and to sort of build them in the kind of minimum order quantities
Yeah. Right.
that you need.
Right.
Okay.
So that obviously this is a call for the government to take. So while all of these platforms may be on offer, the missiles and the submarines and the upgrades, but it is of course very clearly something that the government of India will have to take a call on and balance, as you said, the capital requirements of supporting your own indigenous industry with imports. But that said, it's a very big offer. It's a large number of systems, and I don't think the Russians have made such a large number of platforms on offer to us. But as you just correctly said, sort of, it's possibly a sign of the times that we are in and the challenges that Russia faces as it fights this almost unending war with Ukraine. Thank you very much for your thoughts and your insights.
Right. Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you for having me.